All right, y'all. So the heat is coming, right? Now, if you've been gardening for any amount of time, you know that as the heat comes in, your garden starts to change. What used to look really good 2 weeks ago, a week ago, today might start to not look as good. And if you're in the South, you know, once that heat comes in, y'all, the garden changes big time. So in this video, what I want to do is talk about 3 things that you need to start doing right now. You got to start prepping for the heat. And even if you're up north, these are things that you can do to help your garden game when the heat affects y'all up there. But for us in the South, this is pretty much the time in the next couple weeks where we got to start prepping for the brutal heat that is without a doubt right around the corner. Okay, so the first thing you need to start doing, in my humble opinion, is you need to mulch, y'all. And you mulch everything. Don't not mulch a bed because you don't think they need it. Your beds need mulch. Mulch does multiple things. It keeps the moisture in the soil. It actually creates kind of like a layer of protection against the sun. And it helps stop water evaporation. So, if you have a garden, and you are gardening, you need to start mulching now. One thing to keep in mind is the type of mulch you're using. If you do not need an acidic mulch, i.e. pine, then just get a basic hardwood mulch. You also, in my opinion, don't need dyed products in your garden beds, in your vegetable beds. Dyed products are better for the front, flower beds, make the house look good from the street. But back here where you're growing stuff, in my opinion, y'all drop it in the comments if you disagree, you don't need dyed products in your garden beds, in your vegetable beds, in my opinion. But you do need mulch, for sure. One of the things that a lot of people focus on during the hot times of the year is watering. But if you focus more on keeping the moisture in the soil, then you're not going to have to water as much. And where you can totally have a game-changing thing in your garden is by mulching and keeping that water, that moisture, down in the soil around those roots. The top of the plants are going to deal with the heat the way they do, but the bottom, the roots, is what truly matters when it comes to keeping your plants alive during the brutal heat of the South. Now, y'all keep one thing in mind. The air temperature might be 95, but if the sun is just beating down on your garden beds, your vegetable beds, that soil is going to be hotter than 95 degrees. You've got to keep that in mind and think about what the heat is doing to your roots, to your garden beds. And mulch, again, does create a protective layer across your beds. I like to do 3 inches. That's just me. You could probably get away with an inch, inch and a half, but I like to put a thick layer of mulch across my beds. Now, there are a few different ways you can mulch, and let me show you real quick. You can use straw, shredded leaves, grass clippings that have not been chemically treated, pine needles, compost layers, wood chips around certain areas. There's a lot of options, y'all. You don't just have to go to the store and get a bag of mulch. If you want to, then by all means do that. But you can mulch in different ways, like I just said. And again, when you're mulching, you don't need it to look perfect, right? We are gardeners. Yes, do we want our gardens to look good? Well, yeah, of course. But is the aesthetics of your garden the most important thing, or the functionality of your garden, right? Like, really think about that. Do we really care how great it looks, or do we more care about how well it's producing, how the plants are thriving, and all that? Again, another thing to keep in mind is when you're laying your mulch down, you want to ensure that you still have you have good airflow along the bottom of your plants. You don't want to just stack up a bunch of mulch and affect your airflow. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And then let's talk about mulching containers. Now, as you can see right there, those containers definitely need mulch. Those are sweet potatoes, and I will be mulching these very, very soon. Because remember, in a container, especially a black container like this, the sun is going to just bake that container. So you need to do everything you can to try to ensure you're keeping moisture in that container, and mulch is a perfect way of doing that. All right, the second point, start deep watering and kind of stop shallow watering. Now, if you're new to gardening and you're thinking, well, I'm watering, I'm good. I mean, I'm putting water on everything, so everything should be fine. Yes and no. When in extreme heat, you want to water less, but you want to water more. Does that make sense? You don't want to be out here watering and watering and watering just to water. But when you're watering, you want to be putting a lot of water into your beds. That's called deep watering. You want to make sure that those roots are completely saturated with water. So maybe you don't have to water every day. Maybe you can water every other day, and your plants are fine, especially if you've mulched them, because the mulch is going to help, again, keep the moisture in. And if you're deep watering, beds are going to retain the moisture that they have in the bed. So deep watering. Now let me explain a little bit more about this. Kind of just explained everything about deep watering, but let me explain it just a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it, if you know what I mean. Like I said a minute ago, surface temperatures can be very hot. Air is one thing, surface is a whole nother degree of heat, right? Well, same with your watering, same with watering your beds, is the more that the beds are wet down below the mulch, the cooler those beds are going to maintain, the cooler they're going to be. So the better off your plants are going to be with deep watering. You don't want to just water the surface. You want to get down deep into the soil for that reason. That's another reason. You want the soil beds to be much cooler than what the rest of the plants are dealing with, because the roots are everything. Y'all know that. Now, when should you do this? My opinion, early morning, if you can, or late in the evening when the sun has shadowed your area. So what I like to do is I'll come out, and that side of my garden goes into shadow way sooner than all of this side of the garden. So I will start over there and just work my way as the sun is setting and the shadows are coming across all the beds. That is just a very good way of watering, because you're losing less evaporation from your beds when the sun isn't baking them. Well, there is a double side to that coin right there. Watering too late can create issues in the soil with a lot of water, because then you can get into plants rotting, root rot, things like that, diseases, if there's too much humidity, if there's not enough airflow. So it's kind of a fine line. If you can water early in the morning before the sun hits your beds and you can get a good watering in, then throughout the day the sun is going to do what it does. It's gonna affect your beds the way it affects your beds, but then you don't really have all that overnight cooling where the water just kind of sits there, if that makes sense. So you gotta kind of pick your poison when it comes to deep watering. If you can do it early in the morning, by all means, do it early in the morning. If you can't, just get the water, the deep water, in your beds. Okay, and if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of staying in the shade because it's hot. It is very hot today. And I don't really want to be out there in this heat. So I'm in the shade, which is perfect for this next part, and the third part of what you should do, and that is preparing for shade and the heat stress that the heat gives our plants. Heat stress is one of those things that once it comes in, it can completely change your garden game. Completely. One day you might be fine out here, and the next day it just jumped 10 degrees, 30% more humidity, and your gardening has officially changed for the duration of the summer. We've all dealt with it, where you come outside and you're motivated, you're like, man, I'm about to go do this, and you step outside and that heat slaps you in the face and you're like, yeah, I waited too long. Now I need to wait till night because I am not dying in this heat, right? We've all been there. And if you have cold weather crops still out, they're done. They're about to start bolting. or dying. So there is that fine line where you got to figure out for you, for your garden, and for your plants, when is it time to transition to full-on heat-loving crops? And if you're doing that, what do you need to prepare those crops for what's coming, which we all know is the heat? My advice is make sure that you are paying attention to your weather apps. You're watching your plants. Your plants will start to show you when they're starting to be affected by things. I already, at this point of the year, of my growing season, have bean plants that are stopping. They're starting to already be done, which is fine. I kind of planned that, so it's fine. It's not a big deal for me. I've already got zucchini plants that are done. The ones right behind you that I'm not going to show because they look so bad were affected by the vine borers, but also the heat is coming, so they're done. You know, it is what it is. But your plants are going to show you, they're going to talk to you and tell you, hey, I'm dealing with this, we're dealing with that, I need more of this. If the leaves are yellowing, find out why they're yellowing. Maybe you don't have enough nutrients in the beds. Maybe it's rained too much and a lot of that nutrients is leaked out and you need to reintroduce nutrients to your bed. There's so many things, but just pay attention to your gardens and they will talk to you and tell you what they need. And this time of year, a lot of what your garden is going to say to you is, hey bro, it's hot. It's hot. Some of the things you can look for are the following: leaf curl, blossom drops, bleaching leaves, sun scald, wilting that does not recover well, flower production slowing down. These are all signs that the heat is really affecting your plants. With tomatoes, when it hits 95 degrees, y'all, your tomatoes are done producing flowers. You can keep them alive, but they're done producing flowers until it drops below that temp. And here in the south where I am, zone 9B, just north of Houston, I might have, at this point of when I post this video, I might have another 3 weeks for my tomatoes. And then the next part is coming in right here that you can do for your crops, and those are shade cloths. There are different levels of shade cloths and as far as how much light sun can get through them. Make sure you're getting the ones that are right for you and what you're planting. I use a 50% shade cloth anytime I put them out. They work fine for me here, and I'm showing right here how my tomatoes looked last year when I put the shade cloth up over the indeterminate tomato bed, which is just right over there. The tomato plants stayed alive, y'all, but they weren't producing anything. They just stayed alive. I kept half of my tomatoes in the ground, hoping for a fall flush of flowers and fruit, but it didn't happen. Doesn't mean it won't happen for you. Shade cloths are a game changer. If you have too much sun or you don't have any trees like I do, don't wait like I did and wait 4 years to start using shade cloths. Get your shade cloths. Links are down below in my Amazon store, or just go into Amazon or wherever and type in shade cloths. You'll find a million different types. Another reason that you want to seriously try to protect your plants during the heat, the extreme heat, is once your plants start to get stressed, y'all, it's like the bat signal for pests. Pests can sense a stressed plant from like a gajillion miles away, and next thing you know, you've got pests where you didn't have pests. And a lot of that could simply be because your plants are stressed, they're being affected, and insects can sense that stuff. They can hone right in on it. So it's just another reason why you want to protect your plants during the extreme heat. Here are just a few insects that can really affect your plants during the heat. Spider mite. Spider mites love dry, hot conditions. Aphids will absolutely explode during that time frame, and whiteflies love the heat. And those are just 3 insects you do not want to deal with. Those are 3 pests that are just punks that let's just keep them away, right? Let's just protect our plants, keep them healthy, keep them safe, keep them watered, keep them mulched, and let them continue producing for you into the next coming months during the extreme heat. All right, a little bonus topic here. Look, y'all. Okay, so a little bonus topic here. Now, when you're planting your crops, we all have our different crops, right? You have your spring crops, your summer crops, your fall crops, your winter crops, if you can plant in the winters. When your spring crops start to be affected by the changing of the season, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the heat causing it. It could just be they're done. It's their time to be over. So make sure you're really paying attention to that. Know what your crops are supposed to do at different times of the year, different seasons for your area. Every area is different. What I can do here in 9B, maybe you can't do in 7B or 5B, or what y'all can do up there, maybe I can't do down here. So make sure, again, you know your zone, you're doing your research for your zone, and you're on top of that game. All right, everyone, so those are the 3 things that I highly advise y'all get started on immediately if you're dealing with the extreme heats already. My area has been in the 90s for the last week. I don't see that changing. We might get a small little cold front here. Cold front for Texas is in the 80s, y'all. Here or there, but I'm already starting to prepare and prep my gardens for this inevitable change of the heat. So again, 3 things: mulch, deep water your plants, and then be prepared with shade cloths or other ways that you can remedy the heat that works for you. For me, shade cloths are the way to go. So on that note, I'm going to let everybody go. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you learned something, and if nothing else, I just hope I've at least put some thoughts in your head about what you need to start doing to prepare for your heat. Wherever you are, we are all going to deal with the heat. If you're in the South, you know we are dealing with extreme heat. So be prepared. Y'all take care. May God continue to bless each and every one of you, your gardens. Be prepared for the heat. Be ready for it. So when it gets there, it's not going to be an issue. I'll talk to you again real soon.